Okay, good morning, good morning. So today I just wanted to offer some reflections about how the launch of the documentary is going, and also talk a few bits about the funeral, my wife's funeral on Monday. So thank you for listening. Yeah, it's been a full-on couple of months, but certainly a very full-on couple of days. Saturday we released the documentary globally, so you can download it now online. So Boarding on Insanity, and basically the idea behind the film is, are our leaders traumatized? And we look at, begin with my own experience at boarding school, then we talk about other people's experiences at boarding schools, and then finally we look at our leaders' experiences at boarding schools and looking at some of the history. What is the history of these schools? And yeah, what might the impact be of having leaders who have been to these schools, who've often been through a lot of trauma in these places? How might that impact society? And so that's the idea behind the film. So the launch, it's been great. The feedback so far has been really wonderful. People have, left so many lovely comments, and I've received, dozens of emails. People who went to boarding school, or, maybe their parents were at boarding school, or maybe they're just interested in that conversation about leadership. And yeah, it's been, yeah, that was the Saturday. The Sunday then, family started to arrive for the funeral. So my stepson arrived, and my mother and my sister. And yeah, then it was starting to prepare for Monday's funeral. Monday's funeral was amazing. It really was. Very difficult on one level to, it's like moving from releasing the film, to then, okay, now we're releasing, doing the funeral. And so it's kind of shifting heads. And as with the film, we've had so much support. People sharing stuff, we have an ambassadors group who've been amazing. We've got, and then for the funeral, the same. I had a group of about 5, 10 people, friends, who've been helping me, and I couldn't have done it without them, just as we couldn't have released the film without you. And that for me was the essence of my wife. She was all about community. She set up a healing centre here in Hebden Bridge. She, was part of a soup kitchen that used to put on food for people every Friday, which is still going now. And yeah, just that idea. So I wrote a song for her. And maybe next week I'll play it for you, and I'll put it up. It's called Breathe. And yeah, and then I did a eulogy as well, just sharing some of her stories. I mean, she was a very incredible woman and had so many, amazing experiences. She had near-death experiences. She was a glamour model in her teens and early 20s. It's just like she was just wow. Her life experiences. She worked as a healer, but she ran a Spirit of the Age magazine, or was a journalist on it. So yeah, so many mating stories. So we did that. Friends read some of her poems. They shared stories from her life, and we're just honoured. And then at the end, we decorated her coffin. It was a willow coffin, and as you can see behind me, this is all willow. I didn't make it myself, but it's a natural coffin. And when we put in feathers and ribbons and flowers all over the coffin. So yesterday morning, we took the coffin to the crematorium, and my wife had originally asked for a funeral pyre, and I said to her, I think that's illegal, about a few months ago, and she says, oh, all right, okay. So, we decided on a crematorium, cremation, but driving through the centre of Halifax with this coffin covered in feathers, and it was beautiful. It was swan feathers that she had collected over the years, which she'd gone off to lots of different places around the UK, and she'd always pick up feathers. So it was just, it was a very emotional day, but feeling so blessed with everyone. And then, yesterday, it was a really tough day for me, to be honest. I was feeling very emotional. But again, friends were there to support. My son was there, and, and it was just lovely to have hugs. And so that's kind of, And I noticed myself, I said last week about, when I think I'm at a 10, I'm actually at a 4. And I noticed as well another of the elements which has really helped get me through this last month. One is friendship, but the other is, I teach this with my clients, is the fundamentals: eating, moving, sleeping. The worse we feel, and this is emotional stamina from the psychiatrist Phil Stush, says the worse we feel, the more committed we are to our protocol, to our fundamentals. And that's what I've done over the last month. So yesterday, I hadn't slept much. I came back from the cremation and I went for a run. I went walking, I kind of went to bed early. I read, I watched a film last night. It's like taking care of those fundamentals. And today I feel so much better. And I think that's really key. The worse we feel, then we've just got to, boom, keep doing that protocol, keep spiraling up. The better we feel, the more we do it as well. We're more committed to it. And what happens though, if you stop doing it when you start to feel bad, we just spiral down. And so that's been really great for me to go, right, back on it, back on my protocol, back on my meditation, my yoga, my sitting. I'm barefoot on the earth now. I do that every single day. And you find out what's right for you. But what I find is that post-traumatic growth, we can either go into post-traumatic stress, as Stephen Joseph says, or we spiral up into post-traumatic growth. And we go, okay, we approach it. This is difficult, but I keep going, and I keep going, and I keep going. And and we feel different. So bless you for all your kind words, your love, and it's going to be a grieving process for me over the next few months, years, just to honour her and bless her for all that she was and all that she gave. This film, Bordering on Insanity, would not exist without her. And she watched all the edits, she was there supporting me when I wanted to run away. She was just helped with the interviews, so it's like, really honouring her. So the film will be live until Saturday at midday, and then we're going to take it down for probably a month. And the reason being, as we've shared before, is just to have a break. This has been the most intense period of my life for the last 3 years, but especially the last couple of months. And we're just going to have a break. We realised that if we have the film up, then we need to man emails, we need to make sure everybody can watch the film, we need to make sure, etc., etc. And I need to sort through my house of Michelle's stuff. I need to, the ashes will be coming back in a few days. I'd like to go around the valley when my son comes up, and so there's lots of things I need to do and focus on, and then we'll come back to the film. And this movement, it's like the dialogues are starting to happen. My belief is that 10 years boarding schools will close or can be converted into sixth form colleges. That is my vision, and I think we've got to have that strong vision for what we want to see in the world. Mandatory reporting has to come in. We need to educate a new generation of leaders. We have to bring in ACEs and trauma-informed practices and teachers into all schools. And I feel that movement, it's like, can we spiral up and go, right, I was wounded at these schools, and now we're going to transform. We're going to use that as energy for transformation. And there's so many people. I've had conversations over the last few weeks of people like, right, let's do some research. Leading psychologists, universities, it's like, right, this is happening now. And it's like, we've just got to keep going. When it gets difficult, when Your wife dies, it's like, keep going, keep going, keep going. Yes, we've got to take care of the fundamentals, make sure our hearts are nurtured, we have downtime, but it's like, yeah, we can do this, we can transform these things. And yeah, so bless you for listening, and thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Okay, take care. Bye for now.